Good morning, Bird Gang. It's super early, but you know what time it is. NFL news, our secret weapon speaking out, another top 5, and we got some comments. Welcome back to Cardinals Daily. I'm Eddie Law, and I got you covered on anything and everything Arizona Cardinals. If it's your first time hanging out with us, hit that sub, hit that bell, hit the like, leave a comment. Let us know where you're from, how long you've been a Cardinals fan, and of course, welcome to Bird Gang, the best fan base in the entire NFL. Joining Bird Gang will help us reach even more Cardinals fans out there and continue to grow the team. Don't forget, my channel over at the Eddie Law Show on YouTube. Live shows will be there consistently every Sunday night, especially after games. Once the regular season starts, make sure you go over there, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified as soon as those shows go live. If you have Spotify or Apple Podcasts, we're not available on both platforms. It would be so kind. Please go find us, subscribe, leave us a 5-star rating, and I would truly, truly appreciate that. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, leave them in the comment section below or social media at elaw52 on Instagram. And of course, big shout out to Kalshi, the sponsor of this video. Bird Gang. Right into some NFL news here. Nothing too crazy. Just a couple funny stories, to be honest with y'all. We're really looking into it, right? So first one made me laugh because what's the team we're playing? We're playing pretty soon here. One of them anyway. Did you guys tune in to UFC Saints Cowboys? Apparently, these squads got saucy as hell at their joint practice. The Cowboys and Saints held joint practice on Tuesday, and apparently somebody accidentally booked Monday Night Raw instead. Punches were flying, helmets were getting launched, bodies everywhere. And then Saints tight end Brock Rechsteiner, I think is what it is, Rechsteiner, whatever it is, son of WWE Hall of Famer Scott Steiner, grabbed a Cowboys player and body slammed his ass into the ground because of course he did. That's not unnecessary reference, ladies and gentlemen. That is genetics. My man's DNA saw a football fight and immediately went, "I'll ever hear me." Somewhere, Scott Steiner woke up from a nap, didn't know why, and started doing bicep curls immediately, right? Things got so ridiculous that Brian Schottenheimer and Kellen Moore actually discussed ending practice early. Cowboys rookie Donovan, last name Wild, got thrown out after throwing a punch, right? Which is already the second time he's been kicked out of practice for fighting this season, or this offseason. My brother, you're trying to make the Cowboys squad, not Cobra Kai, right? Saints center Eric McCoy was throwing helmets around, players were swinging, entire groups were shoving each other down the sideline, and at one point, I assume Roger Goodell was backstage somewhere, or maybe on the phone yelling, "We need a referee, somebody get Teddy Long." Eventually, everybody calmed down, and they actually finished practice, which is, probably good, considering players can now be fined for fighting during joint practices. The Cowboys and Saints play each other in the preseason finale on August 28th, so forget football. Just put a steel cage around the field, get Jim Ross on commentary, and if Brock Rechsteiner comes running out of the tunnel carrying a folding chair, it's strictly business because it's about to pick up. All right, if the Houston Texans were how do you put it? They haven't even made it to week 1. And the football gods have already looked at their whole wide receiver room and said, you know what? Screw these guys specifically because Jaden Higgins suffered a torn ACL during joints practice with the Raiders and will miss the entire 2026 season, and that's a bad one. Higgins was coming off a promising rookie year with 525 yards and 6 touchdowns, had been having a strong training camp, and looked ready to take a major step in year 2, and instead, his season ends during an 11-on-11 red zone drill in August. Now, Houston will turn to guys like Xavier Hutchinson, Tank Dell, and Jalen Noel. Except Dell is still working his way back from the devastating knee injury that cost him all of last season, and Noel has been dealing with a broken finger and hamstring tightness. So, their receiver depth chart is starting to look less like a depth chart and more like the waiting room in an orthopedic surgeon's office. CJ Stroud might walk into practice tomorrow, see another receiver limping, and immediately yell, "Nobody move." Seriously, no routes, no jumping, no sudden movements, nothing. Everybody sit down, drink some water, and we'll see you in week 1, because at this rate, Nico Collins needs to be transported around Houston in bubble wrap with a police escort. Only reason I really even brought the story up is because we have some decisions to make in our wide receiver room, and we've got a guy or two that might end up there. I guarantee they're looking at a wide receiver room. Guys like Brooks, guys like Duvernay, guys like Virgil, right? And maybe we get offers or something. Maybe, who knows? And maybe we end up cutting somebody and they pick him up. Who knows? We'll see. But it's just Houston's just taking L's. And for a guy like CJ Stroud, who has to continue dealing with criticism of his basically every year since his rookie year not being that great, not a good day for him, honestly. Well, sucks for him. Anyway, the Jacksonville Jaguars have offensive line injuries everywhere right now. So apparently they did something absolutely revolutionary. They went out and found another offensive lineman. I know, crazy concept. Jacksonville acquired Daniel Falao from the New York Giants for a 2027 sixth-round pick after injuries started piling up across the Jaguars' O-line. And we're not talking about some dude they found wandering outside Home Depot. This dude is 6'8", 380 pounds, and started all 17 games in each of his last 2 seasons. That's a massive dude. That's not an offensive lineman. That's a studio apartment with shoulder pads. That dude's massive. I mean, you can see in the picture, right? This one when he was with the Ravens. The Giants didn't really have a starting job for him after drafting Francis Mauigoa, who we wanted. So Jacksonville looked at his situation and said, hey, you guys using that gigantic human being? New York said no. Jacksonville's like, we'll take him. And it desperately needed somebody, right? Patrick McCarry recently underwent back surgery and could start the year on IR. Cole Van Lanen is, I think he's on PUP still with a knee injury. Chuma Edoga, if I'm not mistaken, has missed time. Walter Little has missed time. Even rookie Emmanuel Pregnon, who has dealt with injuries already this offseason. And at this point, their O-line, it looks like somebody simulated an entire NFL season on Madden with injuries set to 100. So GM James Gladstone didn't sit around hoping for everybody to magically get healthy. He gave up a future 6th rounder and added a 26-year-old offensive lineman with 34 starts over the last 2 seasons. Which brings me back to the Cardinals. Monty, my brother, please take notes. We just lost Chase Wisonis, the rookie who is legitimately competing for the starting right guard job, and was probably going to get it. And our answer can't always be, well, next man up. Can't be doing that. Sometimes next man up needs to be somebody who isn't already in the building. Jacksonville had injuries. Jacksonville identified a position that suddenly lacked depth. Jacksonville, and again, I can't believe I'm praising Jacksonville, but Jacksonville found an experienced player who became expendable elsewhere. And then Jacksonville made a trade, Monty. That's what good general managers do, Monty. That's what they're supposed to do when injuries expose a weakness, Monty. You don't have to trade a first-round pick. You don't have to panic. You don't have to bring Zach Martin out of retirement and hand him ownership of Scottsdale. But there are going to be players like Falele becoming available as teams are going to trim their rosters. So go find one, Monty, because next man up sounds great until the next man up gets your quarterback folded like a lawn chair. Monty doesn't need to reinvent the roster construction here. Just look around the league. Other GMs are showing you exactly how to do your job, which you're not good at. Sometimes when your players get hurt, you replace them with other NFL players, Monty. Wild concept, right? Yeah. Clown ass. I had to take it. I had to do it. I had to do it to him. Had to do it to him, guys. I'm just Monty's a problem. He's a problem. But speaking of his offense, the Cardinals have plenty of offensive weapons that defenses are going to have to spend all week, every week worrying about. I mean, if you look at the guys that we have, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, talent's this and that and the other. No. We have talent. Marvin Harrison Jr., say whatever you want, Mizaki, but you know I'm right. Trey McBride, Michael Wilson, Jeremiah Love. And then somewhere in the corner is our guy Kendrick Bourne just rubbing his hands together like Birdman, right? Hoping everybody forgets he's there. Because according to Bourne, he's our secret weapon. And he might actually be right. If you've seen him play, think about what opposing defensive coordinators have to deal with, right? Harrison running outside in this offseason, looking like he's ready to take that next step. Wilson's on the other side, already having proven himself for the most part last season. McBride running around bullying linebackers and safeties, and eventually Jeremiah Love's going to be coming out this backfield with the kind of speed that makes DCs reconsider their career choices. Meanwhile, Bourne is sitting in the slot saying, who's covering me? And that's exactly what he likes about the situation. He knows Harrison, McBride, and Wilson are going to dominate scouting reports, that they're going to get the top corners, they're going to get the double teams, they're going to get the safety help. Which means Bourne can spend a lot of time on Sundays matched up against somebody's third defensive back. And Bourne basically said, if I got your third string corner, I better be winning that matchup. And you know what, Kendrick? I respect it, brother, right? Man didn't even insult anybody specifically. He just insulted every CB3 in the National Football League simultaneously. But I'm buying this. I'm buying into this. Honestly, Michael Ford isn't treating Bourne like some veteran receiver they signed because they need another body. During 8 days of 11-on-11 work in training camp, Bourne caught 14 of 18 targets. That's more than 10% of Jacoby Brissett's passes during those sessions. So apparently, the secret weapon isn't that damn secret to Jacoby. And LaFleur has moved, Bourne primarily into the slot, which is something he hasn't regularly done since 2019. Guess who was working with him in San Francisco back then? Michael LaFleur. Yeah, there it is. This wasn't Tinder, right? These two already know each other. LaFleur wants Bourne. He knows what Bourne can do on the inside. And Bourne understands what LaFleur wants from that position. And playing slot in this offense isn't just running across the middle hoping Buda Baker isn't waiting there to remove your soul from your body. You've got to block. You got to help the run game. You got to be physical, right? LaFleur said Bourne can block nickels and even insert into the B gap if absolutely necessary. Look, my man is 31 years old, right? Playing wide receiver, and Michael LaFleur basically said, hey, Kendrick, see that linebacker? Go fight him. And Bourne's apparently cool with it. All right. He actually prefers playing inside because there's more space to operate. He can break on the outside. He can go inside. He can work vertically. You run across the formation. Basically, outside receiver is a hallway, and the slot is an open floor plan. It's another reason this makes sense for him, right? At 31 years old, entering year 10, you don't need this man running 70 routes every Sunday like he's 23, right? Trying to make the practice squad. Right? Against Las Vegas, Bourne played 8 of the starters' 11 snaps. That's perfect. Keep him fresh. Let Harrison and Wilson attract the attention. Then bring Bourne onto the field against some poor third corner who spent the entire week starting Marvin Harrison Jr. Surprise them ever, here's Kendrick Bourne. And that's why I think this could be like one of the sneaky important pieces of Mike LaFleur's offense. Right? Bourne probably isn't catching 100 passes. He's not going to go for 1,400 yards. Nobody's drafting him first overall in fantasy football unless your league has a mandatory drug test afterwards. That's not his job. His job is to make defenses pay for everything else Arizona has. Double Marvin, Bourne. Bracken McBride, Bourne. Load the box for love, Kendrick Bourne. He's not supposed to be the centerpiece. He's the dude hiding behind the centerpiece with a folding chair. And if Coach Milf keeps finding ways to get him matched up against third corners, that secret weapon label is not lasting very long. Because by October, DCs might be looking at the Cardinals scouting report going, damn it, we forgot about Bourne again. Arizona doesn't need him playing every offensive snap or chasing 1,000 yards. We need him fresh and productive when he's on the field. Against the Las Vegas, again, looked really good. He's not here to become a star of the offense. Right? He's here to punish defenses for paying attention to the stars. Make it happen. Let's go. All right? And if Michael LaFleur can consistently manufacture that matchup he needs with him, it's going to be ugly for somebody. It's going to be real ugly for somebody. You know what's not ugly at all? Kalshi. Before the season even kicks off, everyone's making their predictions. Who wins the division? Who makes the playoffs? Who's lifting the trophy at the end of the season? And on Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform, you can trade those predictions in a live market. For me, this week, can the Cardinals win at least 6 games this season? Arizona is currently trading at about 29%, meaning a $100 trade pays out about $318. And if they reach 6 wins, winner. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. Trade the draft pick, the game, and more on Kalshi. Download Kalshi app and use code word FANARCFootball. All one word to get $10 when you trade $10. Kalshi. Kalshi. Trade on anything. And apparently, learn how to spell a little bit. All right, on to my top 5 this week, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so I'm choosing to put on my rose-colored glasses the way Miyazaki likes to put it for this one, right? For me, he said, I know you said it before, dude, that I have rose-colored glasses when it comes to the Cardinals. I do sometimes, absolutely, but I'm doing it on purpose this time. Because it's easy to talk negatively, right? Or I guess be realistic about the 2026 Arizona Cardinals, right? But the Mexican national team always has a saying or a motto for the World Cup. This time around, they used ECC. Basic translation is, what if? What if there's something with this squad? What if they are the chosen ones? We just don't see it. So I sat down and thought, could this Arizona Cardinals team surprise somebody this year, or surprise the league this year? And not only make a run to the Super Bowl, although I venture to say it looked rough as hell. Probably it'd be way rougher than that 08 team, the way they pulled it off. But what if they're way better than even they think they are? So let's look at it, right? Because I thought about it, and I got a few reasons why I think they might be able to surprise, okay? First of all, nobody expects the Arizona Cardinals to do anything in 2026. Perfect. That's exactly where I want them. After going 3-14 last season, the Cardinals are basically walking into 2026 like the dude at the party nobody invited, but somehow ends up controlling the aux cord, right? Nobody respects you. Nobody fears you. Nobody's paying attention to you. And then suddenly it's November, and everybody's asking, how are the Cardinals 6-4? So here's my top 5 reasons for the Cardinals, for the Cardinals, and how they could surprise the NFL in 2026. Again, expectations are 5 6 feet underground. If you're 5 feet underground, you're in a shallow grave. 6 feet underground. Let's start here. Nobody expects anything from this team. Arizona won 3 games last year and lost its final 9. It's final 9. And at some point, that's a subscription to losing, okay? So nationally, Arizona's basically being treated like a scheduled bathroom break. Opposing fans see the Cardinals on the schedule and start planning what they're doing after the win. Like, oh, Arizona's week, cool. You want to hit Applebee's afterwards and whatever. And that's why it could get a little interesting because there's no pressure on this squad, really. Michael LaFleur isn't taking over a contender where anything short of 12 wins gets a person fired. The bar is the floor. Actually, forget the floor. James Cameron is currently searching for the Cardinals' expectations at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Win 7 games, and people get impressed. Win 9, Michael LaFleur might get somewhat of a statue, maybe a bobblehead by Christmas, right? Now, another reason why I think we could be in for something decent here, okay? There are offensive weapons everywhere, okay? It's sneaky loaded if you're honest about it. Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, Michael Wilson, Kendrick Bourne, Jeremiah Love, Tyler Algier, James Conner. A legitimate collection of offensive weapons. Defenses are going to have decisions to make against us. As long as that O-line holds up. Again, you double Marvin, congrats. Trey McBride's not running completely unsupervised through your secondary like somebody's toddler at Target picking out anything. Focus on McBride, awesome. Here's Michael Wilson, right? You play light boxes to stop the passing game. Jeremiah Love and Tyler Algier are coming downhill and fast. And once Love is healthy, that's the dude I'm fascinated by. We already saw him average over 5 yards per carry against the Raiders. The problem is he immediately hurt his ankle afterwards because apparently Cardinals rookies aren't allowed to experience happiness for more than 45 consecutive minutes. But get him healthy, the offense has some serious toys to play with. All right, hold on a second. Here we go. Number 3, I don't want to overreact to preseason football, okay? But Michael LaFleur might actually understand offense, right? I've seen August football before. I've seen third-string football or quarterbacks look like Joe Montana and disappear by Halloween. Preseason football is a pathological liar. We all know this, but what we're seeing from Arizona isn't just one player going crazy. The system looks rather functional. And again, fully knowing we're not playing against anybody's number ones. True, right? But different quarterbacks have moved the football in this very light system that we're seeing so far. Different receivers are not just getting open, they're attacking favorable matchups and winning. And they're finding answers in the red zone. Michael Wilson even specifically credited the coaching. That's important. Sometimes watching the Cardinals offense last season felt like watching somebody repeatedly push on a door clearly marked pull, right? Coach Mills spent the last few years around Sean McVay and looks like he brought some stuff home with him. Players are getting schemed open. Quarterbacks are getting easier throws. The offense appears to have somewhat concepts of an actual identity. Imagine that, right? We're running plays designed to help our own players now. Innovation in Arizona, ladies and gentlemen. All right, number 2. Man, these kids, honestly, these kids might actually be good, right? Where Arizona could dramatically outperform expectations is with the young guys. Several of the most important players on this roster still haven't reached their ceilings. Again, MHJ can still become a star. Walter Nolan III has another level as long as he stays healthy. Love could become the centerpiece of the offense. And then there's Carson Beck. Okay. Now, I'm not saying Beck should start week 1. I know we all want him to, but we need to relax. We need to put the pitchforks down here. Jacoby Brissett is a veteran and should get the first opportunity and will get the first opportunity, health being considered. But Beck gave fans something incredibly dangerous during the Hall of Fame game. Hope. The stats, we already know them. He was composed. He was accurate. And then he injured his ribs because, again, Cardinals rookie. But if Beck develops into a legitimate starting quarterback, it's a nice win for us. Finding a franchise quarterback in the 3rd round is basically the NFL equivalent of finding a $100 bill in an old pair of jeans, except that $100 bill can throw a deep how, right? And finally, number 1, and the one you're all going to disagree with me about, but I'm okay with it, okay? We'll probably disagree with me about. The defense. And I put them small like that for a reason. They only need to achieve basic human competence. And this is the big one. I'm not asking Nick Roush to build the Legion of Boom. I'm not asking for the 85 Bears. I'm not even asking for great. I'm asking for average defense. Can we get some average, baby? Can we get some average, please? Please? Can somebody make a tackle? Can we occasionally stop them on 3rd and 14 without giving up 17? Can we, Can an opposing quarterback finish a game without immediately calling his agent and asking for a contract extension because he went all-star on us? If this offense is actually good, then we don't need an elite defense to be competitive. To win is a different thing, but to be competitive, right? They need one that doesn't actively participate in the opposing team's highlight reel, right? Get Josh Sweat healthy. Let Walter Nolan create pressure inside. Let Budda Baker fly around and do Budda Baker things. Force some turnovers. Get off the field occasionally. Maybe make the punter feel included every once in a while. And that's it. Because there's a formula here. If Michael Ford can get this offense somewhere around the top half of the NFL, and the defense can simply avoid becoming a weekly humanitarian crisis, we could win some football games. I'm not predicting a Super Bowl. I'm not predicting 13 wins. I'm not even saying start saving money for playoff tickets. What I'm saying is this, very basic. Nobody expects anything from us. We have the offensive talent, right? We got a good young core, interesting young core at least. The new coaching staff appears to seem to have a clue. And expectations are non-existent. That's exactly the kind of team that flies under the radar and sneaks up on people. And after watching us go 3-14 last season, I don't need to become the Kansas City Chiefs overnight. Just give me meaningful football games. Just give me some competitiveness. Let us not be bored out of our minds knowing that we're going to lose every single game. Give me a reason to check. Maybe give me a reason to check the standings. Or maybe give us some meaningful football in December. Give me a reason not to start studying mock drafts before Halloween. And most importantly, for the love of Larry Fitzgerald, can we please go one season without needing Bird Gang therapy to become actual therapy? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my top 5. Let me know. Which ones do you agree with? Which ones do you disagree with? Do you have one or two of your own? What's your list? Let me know in the comment section below, and we'll put those up on the screen for Friday's show. And on to my favorite segment of the entire show every single week or every single day. Comments. As I go ahead and pull them up on my screen. And my brother Mizaki gets the first one. Sorry, Eddie, I have zero faith in this offense. Nothing from preseason translates into regular season, and this will not be different. Marvin still looks timid and struggles to get open, dude. Add to that, you need the ball to score, and the defense cannot stop the run or much of anything else, though. To be fair, they have not schemed anything versus the opposing offenses either. So they may be better during the season, but who knows? Like I said, the offense will end up somewhere between the 12th and 17th rank in the league, and the defense will end up somewhere between 17th and 24th overall. It's a 2 to 4 win roster at best. I don't disagree with you. I know I just put in the last segment, I just literally put on my rose-colored glasses and made a case for why we'll be better. All right, but I think we're in that 3-4 range too. I think we're 3-4. I don't think 2-4, whatever, but 3-4, right? I think we might sneak in and get 6, but frankly, I think if we hit the 4-win mark, I think Monty's going to pull the plug on whoever's making it happen. Like if Jeremiah Love's going crazy, or Mike or Wilson or Marvin or somebody's going crazy, he's going to find a way to bench him the same way they did with Kyler. Because he wants that number 1 pick, or top 3 pick, whatever it is for the quarterback. I don't think he's convinced at all Carson Beck. He certainly ain't with Jacoby, right? Took forever to pay him, and he did his best, and he did a really good job of making Jacoby look like a bad guy. But the only guy he can't do that to is Trey McBride. If McBride's having another season and he tries to bench him like the way he did with Kyler, dude, he's going to get run out of Arizona. That dude's got to get fired. There's no way. Honestly, I don't believe Michael Vick will fire him. I don't think he's that smart. All right, thanks for the comment, dude. Hot Sauce says, these are all legit questions. My hope, I'll talk about my top 5 questions, yeah. My hope is with all the draft picks we spent on defense last season, let's see how they do. We also lost Sean Murphy Bunting last year, and he's back. So with Johnson and Murphy Bunting at DB and Boot at safety, hopefully the secondary will be better. Then with Nolan, Sweat, and Robinson, maybe we can get some sort of pass rush. That's the idea, right? And again, I'm not asking the team to win the Super Bowl or even make it to the playoffs this year. I just want to go to State Farm Stadium every Sunday home game, which I do. Not for preseason games, but for regular season for sure. And feel like we at least will not bore the hell out of the fans. At least give us something to cheer about. That's all I want this year. All right, we improve, we progress a little bit, then the expectations obviously are going to go higher. But you know how it is. Thanks for the comment, dude. All right, my brother Robert. Hey, remember when between draft day and preseason, I've been saying this team could surprise the NFC West in the NFL between 8 to 10 games? If that happens, man, Monty might just fire himself at that point. But I could see how, who knows, you might be right. Again, 08, nobody thought we were going to play the Super Bowl. So there you go. Appreciate the comment, dude. I can see in the future an NFL team maybe in Canada or Mexico. I believe it. But I think Goodell's thinking more Europe or more. I think that's his goal is Europe. I think Mexico is the easiest one to do. But I guess Canada too. It kind of depends. A lot of guys go like if you look at pro basketball players in Canada, a lot of those guys not really happy being there because the taxes get crazy. But who knows? Anyway, thanks for the comment, dude. A couple more to go. Baya, appreciate the comment, dude. If Monty does nothing before regular season starts, he needs to go. We need O-line and edge help and depth. I mean, he needs to go regardless. I agree with you, but I don't think Bidwell's smart enough to get rid of him. I think Bidwell's kind of under a spell of some sort. I don't know. It's weird. Thanks for the comment. Last comment. Jeffrey says, ownership and management are the number one problem. That's why no big-time players want to come here. I remember the search for head coach. What a joke. May have caught a break with Milf, though. The injury curse is real and the most painful. 100%, dude. Like, we're known as the injury-prone team. Besides, I guess the Niners, they just blame it on some electricity thing, whatever, next door. For us, I believe it's a legitimate curse, especially when it comes to these friggin' rookies. So, it is what it is, folks. That's going to do it for this episode of Cardinals Daily. I'm Eddie Law. Don't forget to hit that sub, hit the bell, hit the like, leave a comment. I will see you guys all tomorrow. Tell your friends coming out with us and continue to grow the team, continue to grow Bergen. You guys are great. Appreciate every single one of you guys. Make sure you guys, tell your friends. Come hit subscribe, hit the bell, and let's continue to go this thing, all right? You guys have a wonderful, wonderful Thursday. Catch you guys tomorrow for the last show of the week, Friday show. Enjoy your night.